guys? Dominick Izzo out here in the Chicago area for Izzo Wing Chun. Let's get violent. All right, do not forget, if you have not subscribed or become a member to our Patreon yet, do so. Go to Izzo Wing Chun and sign up for our membership. Go take a look. The first Tuesday of every month, we are having a great martial arts training call. Come together. I don't care what your martial art is, taekwondo, capoeira, wrestling, Thai boxing. It doesn't make a difference. We want you and your passion without all the bullshit and politics of the garbage fucking forums that have been out there for years that everybody can't stand. Izzo Wing Chun over on Patreon. Make sure you go check that out. Today we're going to be looking at from Pinnacle. This is Pinnacle. We'll look at their YouTube channel. Pinnacle Combat Arts. Pinnacle Combat Arts over on the YouTube channel here, and their video is titled, it's a Pock Sao, Lop Sao content. Wing Chun, Pock, and Lop Sao drills from Sean Elders from 3 years ago. We're going to take a look at it. The reason being is it's not meant to disrespect, but if you're all martial artists, you should be good with the fact that somebody is critiquing your work, especially if they have an expertise in the art that you're teaching. So it's not to call you guys out, but a lot of you, most of you JKD guys, don't teach Wing Chun stuff better. Just put a different name on it. Don't call it Wing Chun, Pock, and Lop Sao. I haven't seen this yet, so fair credit. Maybe Sean has this down pat. Go subscribe to his channel. Go check it out, but let's look at this together.
Hey guys, thank you for checking out our video today. My name's Sean Elders, and this is Pinnacle Combat Arts. Like, subscribe, comment down below, hit the bell so you can be notified every time we get a new video. Today we're going to be talking about energy drills of Pock Sao cycle and Lop Sao cycle. Let's get started. Pock Sao and Lop Sao cycle are great exercises to develop sensitivity and working the center line. Is it the begin all and end all of combat? No.
Now I'm going to tell you number one while I listen to Sean, because Sean's built like me. I am so done listening to the martial artists who are like 5'10" and 130 pounds, and they want to give their mysticism and their energy out there. Ooh, the fantasy foo, as Brother Light Burley calls it. I want to see somebody who is thick, who is built, who looks like they're a truck, and they're like, man, if I'm going to punch you, you're going to fucking feel it. So I love it. I'm going to give Sean a listen, because Sean's a big guy, and as a bigger, not tall, but as a thicker, more massive man, it's going to take, we don't have the maneuverability that, you know, all you guys think that Bruce Lee is the quintessential martial arts body frame. It's just not. So this is what a reality of what life is like, and this is I'm gonna listen to this guy.
No, it is not. Okay, it is important. I find this stuff to be very valuable, because when we get into a street altercation where you clash and your arms meet in the center, which doesn't always happen, I understand that. But you need to be able to have your skills in all different ranges. Sometimes you may go straight into clinch, but even clinch is a form of Chi Sao. Clinch is a form of energy drill, because.
Wow. Well done, Sean. You are correct. The only difference is over the years, I don't agree with the concept where they go, we have 5 different ranges: kicking range, punching range, elbow range, knee range, clinch range. It's one range, it's contact range. And you're going to get in from zero contact to contact. Then that contact could mean you and I are squared up and, you know, we start calling each other's names and a fight's going to brew. Contact range could be we go no contact, and all of a sudden your face is meeting my fist. That's contact range. Is what it is. And it could be lightning fast, which, you know, is what it is. I'm on top of you in a grappling situation, which exists in Wing Chun. So yes, he is correct in this.
Because you need to be able to have the sensitivity and the feel of getting into these different positions. So I want to always bring that up to the.
I don't mean to pause so much, but I'm going to go over stuff. I've learned over the years too as well. No, if you have any wrestling experience, the sensitivity does work in there, but once your mindset, if you are in Wing Chun, and this is a big problem for the Wing Chun guys out there, if you make any type of contact and then your game is to automatically shut off you know, your energy so you could feel what the opponent is doing, like a bull and a matador, you're already going to lose the fight. The reason being is you have adopted the mindset to receive an attack coming in order for your sensitivity to pick it up, and you can redirect, you can counter strike, all that, and it's fantasy food. It's for the movies. It looks really good. It's going to be too overwhelming and too fast in a real fight. It will not happen, but that's what 90% of the Wing Chun game is marketed at is look how awesome my energetics are that I can overwhelm you. It's great for a demo. It is the worst idea when you get involved in a real fight. What your mindset should be is, I go automatic, I keep saying this, less crane, more snake. You need to be more attack, more brutal. If that means you're tensed up and you're rigid, it doesn't fucking matter. Go in. You have to become violence. Let's get violent in this. That's what you have to do in your fight.
The first aspect point is that these are just drills to help to develop attributes for a combat situation. It is not a battle testing game, or but when you make contact with the forearms, this helps you to be able to navigate around those barriers and engage. If somebody's going like this,
already I like him. I already like Sean's energy because he's got the humility, which I think is killing martial arts. I think people need to be more arrogant and cocky. I'm in a different season of my life now, especially in Wing Chun, where I'm so tired of being passive. We need to be more violent. We need to be more aggressive because we're becoming a very soft culture. Both as Americans, for those of us who are out here, males and martial artists. We're way too passive. We need to amp up our intensity. I like his energy. You could tell he knows what he's preferencing about. As an instructor so far, tiptoeing around he's being polite and going, guys, I know this is not a fucking fight. Just pay attention for the fact this is a drill. Sorry, I like his persona.
This at you, you're probably most likely not going to be using this kind of sensitivity. But if somebody clashes with you and they're grabbing, or you're in a position where you're struggling with them, this is where trapping can take place, okay? I don't believe in just one way of trapping either. You know, I have many different things that I've studied throughout the years, from Silat to Kali to Wing Chun to, to all sorts of different things, from praying mantis. There are many different aspects to trapping and sensitivity. We use it even in with knife tactics. We use it in close quarter tactics with the firearm. Okay, and learning how to navigate past arms when somebody engages you close quarter combat. Okay, so there is a.
That's kind of cool. I mean, there's an over-exaggerate scene of it in what's that movie, Equilibrium. But I get what he's saying.
Real reality to the trapping game and the trapping range. So when it comes to understanding trapping and understanding energy drills, the purpose of energy drills is to be able to, if I clash with him and I'm in.
Do you guys understand too, in the beginning, why we stand squared up when it comes to training at all? It's just an agreement between you and your partner. Nobody would stand there and feed you a punch like that. That's the point. Because nobody would do it, in reality, means that you're never going to get an opportunity to train to learn how to deal with it. I mean, it's the same thing as, I don't know, when you wrestle or you box, you're exchanging, right? You're allowing the technique to be done on you so you know how to do it. If you never knew how to do a fireman's carry, you can't go into a match and, I hit the carry, it's there. It's not gonna happen. So your partner's like, man, thank you for letting me train and do this on you. So that's what the salute, if you will. That's what we're doing. We're training in the beginning. Come up, you go. You're acknowledging, hey, listen, thanks for letting me use you to discover what I'm able to do and to improve. So when it comes to drilling, remember, it is a bricklaying foundation for the rest of your skill development in an agreed setting.
I'm in a struggle with him like this, any different sector, doesn't make a difference. If him and I get into a position of any of this kind of stuff, this is where I can exploit my opponent by using energy first, okay? And to be able to trap them and navigate around their arms, okay? So that's very important. So with that being said, when I practice, for instance, the Lop Sao cycle drill, he's gonna hold his arm up at a vertical position. My arm is gonna go and do a Bong Sao position. This is called Chung Choi and this is called Bong Sao. If we wanna get into the aspects, we can even practice being in a Ichikuma stance from Wing Chun, okay? Why do we do the Ichikuma stance? Is to develop the ligaments, develop the arms, and understand center line and base better, understand balance better, okay?
Yeah, and there's a lot to it. I've done many videos on the purpose of the Yi Kim Young Ma stance, and it's actually to form. I mean, I can go an hour into teaching the stance alone, and again, he's banging out a video here. One of the big purposes when it comes to the opening of this, you know, one of the reasons that the JKD guys, and I'm generalizing, a lot of you don't fucking know what you're doing for this. All it is to start up in a fair position. Literally, the Chi Sao beginning position is one person has outside control and one person has inside control with the Bong Tan. The other one's a Fook Sao, and then the other person does it too. The same damn thing. If you go closer, what do they do in wrestling? They immediately tie. One person gets the hand in the back of the neck, other person grabs the back of the tricep and elbow area, and the other person does that as well too. If you're boxing, what do? You stand up squared up. It's the same thing. It goes from no contact, equal position, to a closer range, outside control, inside control, or a clinch. That's all it is. So a lot of you guys do not understand the point of what the role is, or Chi Sao in its initial stages. It's literally just bridging the gap in the safest way possible without throwing punches or eliminating the space for throwing punches and then going right to a clinch. That's all it is. So you take the boxing and the wrestling and you meet it in the middle. Oh, we still have space to hit. We still have space to grapple. That is the only thing of why you're coming into contact with that Chi Sao space to begin with. It's an agreed space to begin with.
That being said, when I practice, for instance, even practice being in a Ichikuma stance from Wing Chun, okay? Why do we do the Ichikuma stance? Is to develop the ligaments, develop the arms, and understand center line and base better, understand balance better, okay? Are you gonna fight in the Ichikuma stance? No, you're not gonna fight in the Ichikuma stance. This position is just simply to develop certain aspects. You'll see this kind of position in many different arts around the world, actually. So when I'm in Bong Sao position, he is in Chung Choi position. My hand's gonna always be, just like his hand will be up in center line position. The first hand, the hand that's in the front is Man Sao. The hand in the back is Wu Sao hand position. I Bong Sao. I rotate my Bong Sao all the way. When I'm in Bong Sao position, I do not want to turn my hand to the center line. I want to have it nice and relaxed. And my center line is actually in the middle of my forearm right here. I'm in my position. I'm in Ichikuma stance and Bong Sao position. Okay, my hand comes up into this line, and I just lop. I'm not.
Now let's break that down bit by bit for what he says, because again, you know, a lot of us can't do we don't have the patience to study shit, but I'm going to break it down and teach upon the different ideologies that are explained in this video.
Certain aspects. You'll see this kind of position in many different arts around the world, actually.
Again, the Yi Kim Young Ma stance is meant to form your tripod with your third leg, the projected energy from your hips. It's meant to separate the upper and the lower half of your triangles. Here, you know, my shoulders form a base of a triangle, and then they come down to the point of my dantian, which is below my navel. That's the apex of the triangle. My feet, when they're separated in the Yi Kim Young Ma, that forms the base, with going up towards my hip, towards the bottom of the base of my dantian. That is the apex of the triangle. So there's a lot of stuff that's going on when it comes down to Yi Kim Young Ma. It's also learning how to relax the upper body while maintaining a base. The easiest, the most I don't know, the most vivid explanation I can give is it's like a tank firing a round or a 50 cal. You have to fire that round, and the platform, the base, the tripod, the structure that the weapon is mounted on has to be able to absorb that energy and recoil. That's what you're learning in the stance. So there's a lot to it, but I don't want to glance just over it.
So when I'm in Bong Sao position, he is in Chung Choi position. My hand's going to always be, just like his hand will be up in center line position.
All right, so when we do this, again, the reason I don't like glancing over this, or for the sake of JKD guys teaching a drill just for movement, is there are so many crucial elements in this drill. A lot of things. And again, he's not here to defend himself. He may know this, and we may find this later on in the video, but let's talk about it. Number one, the Mun Sao, Wu Sao position, Bong Sao in this case, Wu Sao, this is too close to his sternum, as is his demonstrating partner here. I could tell that they don't truly understand what energy is when it comes from drawing up the energy from the earth in your Yiji Kim Young Ma stance, storing it in your Dantian, and then delivering it out through your weapons. That is done in the first section of the first form, which is why it's so crucial to do it so many fucking times. This is a key trick to how a lot of you guys don't understand it. You just look at the thumb. When you see thumb engagement going backwards, the energy, it's so fucking incredible to discover this stuff. Energy goes where the fingers go. And if you have, like, there's certain points where energy will leave the body, kind of like lightning and electricity will leave something. So when I'm in the Wu Sao, my thumb is always engaged with it going forward. And the Wu Sao is actually my pisiform bone, PISFFORM. That bone is where the energy is coming up from the ground through my ankle, knee, hip, spine, shoulder, elbow, wrist, goes out the pisiform bone. So there is a flexation or an engagement. My hand is not stiff, it is pliable, but the bone is going to go forward, and that forms structure. You guys, I'm telling you, you guys will learn structure so much more if you do the first form and understand the energy relationship between all these points of your body. Elbow, shoulders, boom, here's a triangle. You just formed a triangle, here's the base, here's the apex. Your structure can't be beaten. When your structure is past 90 degrees, yes, it's collapsible. It also will show that Sean's energy on his left side, it's not engaged in the drill. And I know, because I had Mike Van Beek out 15 years ago, and we talked about Bong Lop drill. You know, we went over some of the aspects of it. He showed the dynamic natures of the drill.
The same way you would.
Okay.
I raise my elbow. I Bong Sao.
Okay.
Yeah, so we're like this now, dude. Yeah, that's how I do it.
Okay.
But I switch on different lines, right? So if I'm going here, go, roll it. Then I'm not, see how he's square? I'm to the side. So when I do it, I want to pull, bro. I want to pull that arm. I want to wrestle on him. I want it to be a little bit violent, okay? In order to replicate the energy. So now go, boom, boom. Now go, see how his wrist, now hit me with that. So you have to extend it. I want to turn mine to the side. So it's more, yes, as opposed to this, which shortens my range. It doesn't even hit me.
Right.
So if I'm doing my Lop Sao, like, do it with this, you have no, I'm not even being threatened to hit. So I really wanted him to feel it. So if he doesn't block, I'm going to hit him.
Yeah.
So now our first thing we done is made it honest. So now that he extends it to hit me, do it again. Hit me with it. Boom, hit me with it. Yeah, there you go. Here we go. Now we can play this game. Right? So the Lop Sao is a good tool in terms of what do I do to stop it? I would take that Lop Sao, I would take a different line. Right?
Yeah.
Go with it. So we're here, here, right? Now I'm back on that side.
And that's fine for their sake of moving into things, but I want to know fucking everything. One of the sayings that Bruce Lee, I guess, is attributed to saying, to which I actually thought was brilliant, is when he first started learning Wing Chun, a punch was just a punch. But after a while, a punch became your ankles, your knee, your hips, your spine, your shoulder, your elbow, your wrist, your turning power, your torquing power, your rising, your sinking. And I'm packing a lot on to what he said, so I'm kind of taking over the quote. Your movement, your footwork, and after you've learned that, after you've eaten and dissected and just absorbed and understood the minutia on every level possible, a punch is just a punch again. So when it comes to these drills, A lot of JKD goes right into movement. And that's one of the biggest problems with American style martial arts. So many of us do not have the cultural dedication to spending 1,000 fucking hours on one technique. We don't. As a Wing Chun teacher, I will tell you the easiest way to weed someone out is do exactly what my teacher did to me in the first time, which is you spend 3 weeks, every class, standing statically doing center line punches while the rest of the class is doing something. Watch your students go, I'm paying for this? The fuck am I paying for? You're not a good fit. As Wing Chun people, one of the biggest problems is we don't dissect the living shit out of a movement properly. A lot of the improper ways that we do it is we get this information for whatever our teacher says, and we just rip right into it, and we don't discover it, and we apply it towards the mysticism of their legend, not our own experience. All right, let's continue.
The first hand, the hand that's in the front is Man Sao. The hand in the back is Wu Sao hand position.
Now, another thing too, I don't like this vertical position, and I've talked about this before with Kevin Lee specifically. When this movement is trained like this, and we're going to see whether or not he gets into this, because when Kevin did this in the video that I showed, that it kind of took him out of his position of doing a Wing Chun movement. Oh my God! Look at this brilliant fuck up by Kevin Lee. Look at his bong lop. Now, I'll play it again so you could watch it. This was in the fourth exchange. I don't care about the footwork that much. He's still got great structure, head over hips, over feet. That's fine. The bong lop stopped. He pulled his punch. Remember, in the bong lop drill, so many people are concerned about the fluidity of doing it that they pull the punch. It's our job to do it the right way. And our partner, fuck you. You need to learn the distance. You need to learn the application. You need to learn the sensitivity. This is what got Kevin into trouble with forwarding energy. I'm going to play it again. I'll back it up, watch it, and let's take a look. It's the 7-second mark. Let's watch. This will be, I think it's the fourth exchange. Watch Kevin's bong lop and what he does. Here comes 4. Whoop. Did you see that? I do it again. Comes 4. Whoop. Watch one more time. Watch as Kevin does the opening bong lop. He winds up right in almost a back fist position instead of a straight punch going in. Because that's how we fucking train in Wing Chun. We don't train for realism. We train for the sake of drills, for hand speed. Here we go again. Watch. 4. Boop. Again, I wish I had slow motion on this. I don't. You guys can slow it down on your own. Look at, he loses because Jesse's going forward and Kevin's structure based on the first point of contact, which should have been the fist, is collapsed because he didn't sell or continue or commit to the punch. This is a brilliant training error or application error that should show shit. How am I training when I do my Wing Chun? The problem is that we act in application how we trained. So I'm hoping he's gonna adjust this, but for right now, the vertical fist, even on a slight angle, is 100% incorrect. And if they're gonna train this way in Jeet Kune Do, call it something different. It's not bong lop drill anymore. But just from the criticism position, their hands violate center line. Their hands violate the 90-degree position lock. They don't know what energy is coming from the other side of the body that's not engaged. Right now, only the bong arm is engaged and the punch arm is engaged. And honestly, because of JKD's dedication or mostly superior reliance on a bladed stance, it's highly unlikely that these guys, as is most JKD guys, understand how to keep the other side of the body that's not engaged on and ready to go, springy energy. And that's almost exclusive to Wing Chun.
I Bong Sao. I rotate my Bong Sao the way. When I'm in Bong Sao position, I do not want to turn my hand to the center line.
You do if you're learning the position to begin with. Yes, you do. You have to learn it until you understand it and go, oh, it's off. Because energy goes where the fingers go. 100% guarantee that if Sean is in
All the way.
this position with his fingers continuing on a line past his training partner, if his training partner pushed into him, the pressure will go into Sean's shoulder. This is nothing mysticism. This is all body mechanics, and it's phenomenal. And I really stress that you explore this in your class. When Sean engages his fingers going forward for training purposes,
when I'm in Pock Sao position, I do not want to turn.
Here, he just engaged the flow of energy, like I said, the electricity that is drawn up from the earth in your breathing and your first form application, especially in the Tan Sao, Wu Sao section. You're drawing energy up from the earth, and when it goes out of your body, it has to go somewhere. So, in the beginning, the 3 stages of training your Pock Sao correctly for pressure are: the first time, your fingers are going to be completely pointed onto the person's center line. That's a grammar school. That's grammar school training. After you've understood that, we're going to then focus. We're going to take that focus from the center line, and your shoulders are going to point more to where your pec and your shoulder meet. And you're going to go, oh, whoa, whoa. Why? Because that puts the focus of Pock Sao where it should be, on the wrist, not the hand. If I'm facing you in Pock Sao and my fingers are on center line, my Pock Sao violates the structure of what it is, and it goes right into my shoulder. If I settle it in a little bit, that means my wrist is on center line, my shoulder's in proper alignment with my arm, my elbow, and that structure could take it. That's high school. The college or graduate course then is, once you understand where that pressure comes from, the fingers then can be turned off because you don't need them. You'll hear me say all the time, the best, the Swiss Army knife of Wing Chun tactics is the Fook Sao. People think, it's like in William Chung's lineage, they teach us like a dog paw, and that's a bunch of bullshit. I don't like their garbage Chi Sao where their Fook Sao is really engaged, because you're trapping energy into your hand, and they don't understand it. They don't know proper energy in the William Chung lineage. When it comes to the Fook Sao, it's a relaxed hand, because in the concept of the Swiss Army knife, well, my foot could become my punch, could become my Pock Sao, could become a palm strike, could become a Wu Sao, Tan Sao, Bong Sao. It doesn't make a difference. This is not the weapon. The weapon is whatever whatever shape your hand chooses to take on in your wrist. I mean, the most brilliant example on the planet is oh God, what's his name that comes from the Wang Sheng Lung lineage, who does not have a hand. I could picture him clear as day. Philip Bayer, right? Does not have a hand. So if he doesn't have a hand, how can his Fook Sao energy work? Because he understands what Fook Sao energy is. You don't need a hand for it. Let's continue.
Turn my hand to the center line. I want to have it nice and relaxed. And my center line is actually in the middle of my forearm right here.
No, it's not. Your center line is always projected from wherever your intent is. William Chung's lineage teaches center line and central line. So what I mean by that is, my center line is the literal physical line that divides me in half. Well, if I turn it on a 45-degree angle, that means my center line is pointed over there. How could I do that if I violate, if you're the enemy? Well, my central line is the projected line of energy that goes into you. Fuck that. We have a center line. That's it. If you look at my what do you call it? My cup here, my I don't even know what these are called anymore. Jeez. My container for my beverage. Where's the center line on this? Where? Anywhere it chooses to be. Same thing with you. You have to think that your center line is your spine. And just like the concept of cutting a pizza, you can cut a pizza into infinite slices. Well, you can only cut a pizza, large pizza, into 12 slices. No, you can cut it into 1,000,000 slices if you can cut the angle small enough. Same thing. My center line is here. My center line is here. It's here. It's here. It's here. It's projected. It's based on my intent. That's why in the first concept of we do Tan Punch for beginners, we teach them you turn into the Tan, because physically you're reinforcing your structure with your physical center line. but that means your punch isn't on center line. But my intent is. Again, I would rather have you study the living shit out of this martial art and chew on all the minutia before you swallow so you understand it. But no, your center line is wherever you choose it to be. If you start to dedicate a position of your arm to be the center line, well, you're screwed. Oh, but Izzo, but you said that it's your fingers, that it's your wrist. That's structure. That's structure. Go against a wall. Push your back against the wall. Take your Tan Sao here. Put it right on center. Have somebody, or even your Bong Sao, or your Lan Sao. I don't care, whatever it is. Lan Sao is the easiest because it's past, or it's at 45 degrees. Have somebody push into your arm. Well, if they push in and you point your fingers going forward, you can't. You can hold them all day. When you point your fingers towards yourself, it's collapsing in. So that's the energetics and the aspect of it. Them pushing on you makes no point. You're going to be able to take it wherever it is. If your intent, if you're let's just say your center line or your wrist, which I said is where your center line should be focused on, you violate it a little bit and it's in line with your left pec versus your chest, and they push in, you're gonna have a hell of a time holding it in because that's structure. So again, you can't just pick a point on your arm and say that's where my center line needs to be coming into, because what if I'm facing this way and you're that way? Well, my center line now comes through here. My center line is gonna be coming right through my shoulder at you. So again, be very careful about talking if you're in JKD and you don't understand this concept.
I'm in my position. I'm in Ichikama stance and Bong Sao position. Okay, my hand comes up into this line and I just lop. I'm not going to lop hard. I don't need to lop hard. Okay, I'm just going to pull down and re-engage. Okay, I do my Lop Sao. There's two different ways to Lop Sao. One is to twist. So he Lop Saos and we keep position and keep connection, and then there's also the other way is to disconnect and re-engage. So both can be used. Not one's better than the other one or anything like that.
Yeah, they're both fine. Both those energies are essential, but I want to go back to this from the beginning to correct some of the things he's talking about.
So he Lop Saos, and I'm in Ichikama stance and Bong Sao position. Okay, my hand comes up into this line, and I just
now number one, the Lop Sao it's a pull. Gum Sao's a push. Lop Sao is just clearing. And a lot of us in the beginning, every movement in the first form is finished with Tan Sao, Yun Sao, grab, and Lop Sao. You're pulling in with your energy, with your elbow. And a lot of us think, like the double lop, we rip arms down, all this stuff. Lop Sao is just clearing the movement a fraction of a way so you can get through to something. If you Lop Sao that much, you're done, right? When it comes to this drill, some of the things that we need to understand are the concept of pressure on the wrist brings up the elbow, and pressure on the elbow brings up the wrist. In the Lop Sao movement, the Lop drill, I've done many, many videos on this. The point being is if you push, and we're in Bong Lop, if you come in, you push on my wrist, I'm automatically going to feed my bong into you. Feed my bong into you because you told me. That's all it is. I don't wait for you to pull me. The second I feel contact pressure, boom, I go right into you. And again, I've done many videos on this.
Go. I'm learning that when I disengage, I have to recover and spring forward right away. And all of my weapons face into him. I feel pressure. Okay, go. I'm pressuring into him. I want to give him pressure that feeds into him and me at the same time. Man, it gives me pressure. I'm learning. Oh, look, my center line. Now I got to face into him. Pressure. 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 Contact is already established and pressure is going in. We have several of these in Wing Chun, okay?
Now, in addition to pressure on the wrist bringing up the elbow and pressure on the elbow bringing up the wrist, the recipient also has to sit there and do a movement too. And you're going to get to that in a second. Forward energy is always everything. And one of the I'm glad he brought this up. The two differentiating energies of, well, not energies, two differentiating engagements of this drill are separation or no separation and constant contact going forward, staying glued to somebody. The separation, I think, is fantastic because it teaches you automatically, you got to think of like a coiled snake. You disengage and your elbow swims back in and you punch forward. Again, we see this movement in the learning that turning punch. You learn how to swim forward and immediately, like a coiled snake, spring forward with an attack. And that's what this is, one of the ways of teaching this in this drill. So again, it's good, but again, Why are we doing it? What is your understanding of doing this drill? It can't just be separate, engage. There always has to have forward energy moving forward at all times, even going backwards. And I've talked about that many times too. That's what you get out of the first form. When you're drawing back your Wu Sao in your Tan Sao Wu Sao section, you are thinking going forward as you're drawing back. It prevents you from collapsing. The easiest way that I've talked about it or described it is it's like a wall, and you've got a big sheet of drywall, and you've got to move it, and it's standing up. Well, you're gonna guide it down gently by giving it pressure. That it's 100 pounds, and it's pushing into you. You can't just let it collapse because it'll fall to the ground and break. So you've got to guide it down gently as it's coming forward. A lot of you guys grew up doing this with like a ball or an object. You don't let it just collapse. This is my Zippo lighter. I'm going up. I'm letting it come down. I'm guiding it down. I'm guiding it down. That's the same concept as going forward as you're coming back. So in your bong position, you still have to go forward, even if you separate.
This lop, I'm not going to lop hard. I don't need to lop hard. Okay, I'm just going to pull down and re-engage. Okay, I do my Lop Sao. There's two different ways to Lop Sao. One is to twist. So he Lop Saos, and we keep position and keep connection. And there's also the other way is to
I know it's a drill, but you can see. If you've studied Wing Chun specifically long enough, you could see when someone doesn't know where their energy is at. Just watch.
One is to twist. So he Lop Saos, and we keep.
You could see. I know it's a drill, and maybe he does, but maybe he's stopping in the moment of this. Watch as he gets lopped. His right arm gets pulled in and leans into it because he has no base or structure because the other side isn't on. Granted, he's teaching. I'm giving him defending. I'm defending, but now I'm not defending. He doesn't know what he's doing in this, right? I'll be brutal. Okay, watch.
Lop Sao one is to twist. So he Lop Sao.
Shoulder comes out, pulls forward, and this side is recessed. It's a natural reaction. Pull, instead of just completely having the absorption of energy, staying rooted and being in. That's the importance of the Yiji Kemyu Ma stance that everybody glances over.
Keep position and keep connection. And there's also the other way is to disconnect and re-engage. So both can be used. Not one's better than the other one or anything like that. He does it. And so we're just going to go back and forth. But when you start off doing this.
Okay, that's not the drill. I know he's got a lot that he wants to do in it, but that is not the exclusiveness of the drill.
This is kind of like Lop Sao 101 for beginners. Don't put too much pressure on your partner. Okay, when you engage with just as much as they do. It's a nice balance. The arm needs to be at 120 or 45 degrees, but it's 120 degrees off of their arm.
I like that.
See that? It is.
I like that, and I know he's demonstrating, but in real application, that means this shoulder needs to be just as squared up as the other side. You can't be bong and you have to be. Your bong has to. Everything goes forward. I talked in a video the other day about the Bruce Lee Cobra pose. It's what helps out. You flare your lats out. It gives your shoulders more space, and you're able to stay squared up against your opponent. So no, this is positionally. I know he's teaching, but this is incorrect.
He's coming out like that at a diagonal. See this in this position here. Okay, I Lop Sao and then he Lop Saos, and we go back and forth. I prefer to re-engage.
Now, one of the things in this position is I'd like to see the energy going forward. In a Lop Sao position, you can pull back a little bit, but if we're going to talk about forwarding energy, I want to see somebody come up and take that and push and go right in. I want to see that thumbless grab. Oh, it's easier for you guys to see this way. That thumbless grab. If I go here, push into the opponent. I don't like to see a lot of pulling, because Lop Sao, shit. You pull a grappler, they're going to go right into you. But I'd like to see you clearing the line with a little bit more pressure and not just a pull down. Pulling down, no. Have some dynamic to it. Pull down and in or push down and in.
I don't like to twist like this. Why? Because I want to understand and I want to feel where to re-engage. But sometimes we will do connection and roll. Go ahead, continue. So we're in our position. So the first one you need to learn is how to...
And again, let's look at this for a second here.
Continue. So we're in our position.
I got to get this.
So
Here,
roll.
Go
Go ahead, continue.
There, right here, you can see that this is a big reason. The students' right hand, they don't know what to do with it. They're only trained for one side, the engagement side. Your Lop Sao should be you lop, boom, and you're ready. If you're in this position here, if you're in bong, you have to be at that ready. You all the time. Once a tool is used, it has to be ready to be engaged again. This is a big fault in JKD where they train. Maybe they train independently because they teach the strong side forward and they do not understand the relationship between strong side and weak side working together. But this is a bad drill being done right now.
So we're in our position.
Yeah, even Sean. Sean doesn't get it. His hand is off. His hand as a teacher should be on. That Wu Sao should be fully engaged, reinforcing the Bong Sao structure. It's energetics, it's body structure. I don't give a shit what you call it, but 100%. Go train with a partner, hold your Bong Sao out, have them push, and then without touching your Bong Sao, hold your Wu Sao up behind it and project that energy into your partner. Wow, okay, why am I stronger? Your body mechanics, your body structure. This should be an engagement of both sides. He's not doing it. The left side is off. It needs to be on at all times. You can only get this if you understand the Wu Sao, Tan Sao, Wu Sao section, Fook Sao, Wu Sao section in the first form and developing that forwarding energy while going backwards.
So the first one you need to learn is how to switch, okay? So what happens is when I go to grab...
You can't learn to switch if you don't learn the drill properly, and that's one of the biggest problems I have with Jeet Kune Do is they jump. They jump, like they throw this shit all over the place. Learn the fucking drill the right way. This drill is being done for movement only. It's not being done the right way. And this is my only complaint. If you want to teach this for Jeet Kune Do, teach it for Jeet Kune Do. Don't put fucking Wing Chun, Lop Sao, Pock Sao drills on a YouTube video because somebody is going to search it. They're going to see, oh, this is a Wing Chun drill. They're going to try to duplicate it and not know what the fuck they're doing.
And I pull down, he grabs
and we know where that leads. They go to apply it. No, Wing Chun sucks. It doesn't work.
my grab and then pulls, okay? Notice I'm not using my thumb.
Yeah,
we don't want to practice. We want to do what they call monkey.
There's a lot of transitions for this, is what it is. I mean, the one biggest problem I have is they have no forwarding energy in their drill, none whatsoever, and they don't have their offside accompanying forwarding energy.
Just like that, I'm rotating this part here, okay? Do not bong sao like this. This is the most strangest bong sao I've ever seen, okay? The bong sao.
Well, you can if you're shorter, and then what happens? So that's one of the problems I have with this is like on center line. You know, Sean's a big guy. He can't get his elbow on center line. So does that mean his tan sao's incorrectly? I don't like when people say that structurally, you know, something doesn't work. Bong sao is an extremely misunderstood weapon of Wing Chun too, because people try to look the bong sao out. But you're gonna punch with your bong sao here, cover your face. Fuck, you better punch instead of bong sao. Bong sao, in my opinion, should never be used. It just really shouldn't. Outside of a grappling technique, it just shouldn't.
Sao, the wrist should be a little bit lower than the elbow. Okay, if you bong sao and your arms like that, it's totally not natural at all. You need to rotate when you
Nothing
naturally
in fighting
rotate.
is natural.
Everything folds. All the muscles rotate over each other, and it creates a nice strong structure. Okay, so
yeah, they're just going through the motions of this drill, and you could watch it. Just watch without volume. They're doing this for the sake of just movement. They don't understand this drill. You can see in this position, this is a complete violation of Wu Sao on both their hands. There's no engagement on the offside. That's the number one problem I see with Jeet Kune Do guys trying to pass off a Wing Chun drill. This is not a Wing Chun drill. This is not Bong Sao, Lop Sao. This would be, I don't know, if I saw a boxing combination and I taught it and I never boxed, and I probably pass it off on it. I'd say, no, this is a boxing drill. No, you're using fists to duplicate movements you don't understand. They're using Wing Chun shapes to duplicate movements they don't understand.
So when I grab, he grabs. He goes the other side. That's how we switch.
Transition. Let's see.
Always bring your hand back up to Fook Sao position.
Move
I just
forward.
switched again. Okay. So that's the basic switch. I'm just going to show you guys one switch. Then we're going to go to Pock Sao cycle. So you see how his hand's up like this? All I'm going to do is slap the inside of his hand and soot to his neck. He checks me 2 times. Double Pock or Siung Pock Sao. Okay, we'll slow it down a little bit. So when I
hate this fucking drill. I did this drill for a little bit. I stopped it. I do not teach this drill.
I chop, he does 2 Pock Saos, okay, right around the elbow. What you don't want to do is you don't want to do it at the wrist, because if he does it at the wrist, I can collapse it.
Pressure on the wrist brings up the elbow. Pressure on the elbow brings up the wrist.
I can either use my elbow or I can use my hand to come and roll over, okay?
That
and collapse it.
Is a very unanatomically weak-ass strike. To punch and then do this, you're torquing your shoulder, your center line is completely off, even if your intent is going into it, and your other arm is not engaged. I do not recommend a rolling bong sao into a back fist bullshit. Save it for JKD.
I can either use my elbow or I can use my hand to come and roll over, okay? So I'm chopping 1, 2, and now notice, if you've learned...
Again, that's the chop, and thank God he didn't say Fook Sao, because I would rip the technique apart, because they're pivoting on the elbow. When Fook Sao is a piston, Fook Sao is a strike. It's not a pivoting on the elbow. There's no power on that. It has to be a piston action that is accompanied with elbow and wrist springy energy from your dantian hips energy storing.
Learn any Ichikama stance positions, you can learn how to shift and rotate to the other side. Okay.
They don't even teach the shift right. Watch. No, so yeah, watch this student shift.
You can learn how to shift and rotate to the other side.
There's so much movement because
so when I come in, I pop.
He's shifting on the balls of his feet. When you shift on the balls of the feet, you're then throwing your center off. So if my center is right down the pipe and it's facing you, if I turn on my heels, my center is here. Nothing changes, right? Nothing changes. But if I turn on my feet, I lift on my toes, you're moving your center line and you're raising your energy. It's one of the reasons we train to pivot on the heels, because you don't move your center of gravity. When you turn on your feet or your balls of your feet, you fuck everything up by raising your energy.
The inside, and I soot, and he does it. He does 2 doubles, and I pock the inside. When I pock,
yeah, it's a useless drill, because if you're Pock Saoing somebody twice in the arm, you're already fucked. And it's a drill, and you're teaching. I know this drill, after I learned it, I thought it was cool because it was 3 taps. You know, to 1, 2 Pock Sao, then a strike up to the just, yeah, but okay, so what are we learning? Good point. If it's going to be anything, it's going to be a pock, then a gum pin, and then a strike at the same time. We'll learn that, but we won't do this bullshit. This is a bullshit drill, in my opinion.
Now, I'm in my position. I'll go a little farther back so you can see my feet. I'm going to rotate just like this.
See?
And then soot.
See, watch.
I'm going to pop back so
watch
you can see
his,
my feet.
so if here's his center, if you draw a line, if you can see where my mouse is, let's look at right in his shirt here. Watch what happens when he moves.
I'm going to
Well, there of a sudden,
rotate.
Look where the mouse is at. His center line is gone. And he's on his toes when he winds up moving. Watch his heels.
Just like this, and then soot. I'm going to pock and
He's
soot.
turning his...
Pock.
Don't teach a Wing Chun stance if you don't understand it. He is pivoting on the balls of his feet, not his heels. This is 100% incorrect. And if your foundation isn't built the right way, you can't teach fucking Wing Chun drills. So if your footwork and your understanding of the stance isn't there, how can you teach the drills that are in the system? It's not responsible. You just showed you violated one of the most basic principles out there, which is pivoting on your fucking toes. You don't do it. You violated your center line. So anything you teach after that is going to be by the pure nature of is weak. It has no teeth. No teeth.
and soot, pock and soot. I'm pocking in the center line. I'm not pocking off to the side.
One of the reasons that we also turn on our heels is the distance gained by a Fook Sao, right? So if I pock and I turn on my toes, it veered off my center line. My strike is, it's over here. But if I turn on my heels, my strike still has more distance. Anatomically speaking, that's why that stance is superior, and you have to study it.
Okay, when I Pock Sao, it may look like that, but it's not. I'm actually maintaining my center line, and then when I do my soot, I'm trying to maintain most of my center line as well.
No, you violated
so I'm pocking here, and then I'm sooting just like this, pock and soot. Okay, that's very important. Then the other side is I'm in my position. And I go 1, 2, and then I pock, and then I wanjern. Siang Pock Sao, wanjern, double pock.
I don't like this stuff because, again, they're teaching the slapping hand movements and the fast. This is the flashy Wing Chun that gets everybody in trouble. The Jeet Kune Do loves to show off, and it doesn't fucking fit. It's wrong for our system. There's no power behind it, and it's all movie Wing Chun at this point.
Toi Sao. This is called Toi Sao. At least most of my stuff I speak in is in Cantonese. Toi Sao, Sut Sao. See that? Okay.
Yeah, I hate that the inside Pock Sao, the swiping hand coming in. You're going to get that from the first section, the first form out, and then draws back in. It's the same motion coming in, and it's like putting a hand on a 5-year-old's head, letting it push forward, letting them come in, and then slapping them at the same time with the energy that they used, that you collected. It's the same shit, but again, can you make that work in a real fight? So just remove it from your study, because you could have it fun with it, but it's not going to be applicable.
So if I check him and he Toi Saos and then he soots right back, my Wu Sao hand better be ready, and it checks.
Well, your Wu Sao hand was not ready in any other drill so far, so I'm glad you're recognizing that.
Sao's double pock and it goes into it. Okay, so I Toi and then I soot, and then we go back into it. Okay, I would spend time just simply practicing this. You need to.
Yeah, and you're doing it wrong. So that's the problem. And it's just, don't fucking teach my art if you don't know it. And you don't know it. It's not meant to be disrespectful, but you're disrespecting Wing Chun by teaching it when you don't know it. So I have a big fucking problem with that. What it leads up to is the false sense that these people are going to do a drill with 20 different hand positions of slapping hands, and then they're going to get their ass hand out to them when, your Wing Chun doesn't fucking work, because they're waiting for a static punch that was based off of drills to come in. I hate this. I fucking hate this. Stop teaching. Teach all you want. Call this JKD, Bruce Lee's special secret, yellow and black fucking game of death physique shit. I don't care what you call it. Bruce Lee's hidden secret touch of kiss of your sister's ass. I don't care, but it's not Wing Chun. Don't teach Wing Chun if you don't know Wing Chun.
Is that jab, boom, it's like that. It's real quick. So you're going one and bam, you're hitting. Now, boxing, it may be against the rules, but in a street fight, there are no rules except for survive.
That's okay. That won't happen in a street fight. There's no way you're going to catch somebody. You're going to catch somebody's shit and then strike them, and that's not going to. You had better learn to attack, which is why Wing Chun is essential for attacking.
For Lop Sao cycle and Pock Sao cycle, inside Pock Sao cycle, we can learn how to use it inside the boxing structure. Okay? Hope you guys enjoyed it. I'll see you next time. We have to.
All right. I mean, I appreciate that. I respect that. Well, no, I don't. I appreciate what he's trying to do. I don't like it. It's not Wing Chun. Guys, just don't unless you. And here's the problem: if you've completed the Wing Chun system, I guarantee you won't look for anything else. You'll be like, I'm good. I don't need anything else. I don't know a JKD teacher who can legitimately say, I've completed the Wing Chun system. And it's really that they truly know it. They just don't. They look to take the components out of it that they like and put it in their shit. And then what happens is they got bad fucking Wing Chun. And then, Wing Chun doesn't work and I can't stand it. So stop fucking teaching Wing Chun if you don't know it, which is most of you. All right, let me know what you guys think in the comments below. Again, do not forget to go to patreon.com, Izzo Wing Chun, become a member, and join us for our great martial arts training hall. Guys, have a great damn day, and I look forward to seeing you on the next video.